Hey everybody, seems like most of my videos start with this phrase, but it's been a long time since last video I posted, so thought I'd at least do a little bit of maybe something a little bit different than I've done so far. I thought I would give kind of a rundown of a bunch of upcoming projects, and this is going to be not just like short-term projects, but for the next say 4.5 years ish. And you'll see I'm actually, most of this I'll be showing the video the other way instead of at me, just because at the moment I'm by myself at the cabin. You can see there's an empty chair there. My wife is not with me this time, and so I've got both dogs on a lead, and I think it'll be a little challenging to try to keep track of them and watch myself on the screen. As we're doing this, I'm just holding the camera in my hand like I usually do, so nothing fancy there. Anyways, I'm starting, it's kind of going to be backwards, at least to start with, chronological order in terms of the projects we've got lined up. And so let me turn the video around here in a second and show you where we're starting. Okay, first off, well, there goes one dog. This is something new since last time I posted a video at least showing them. We have another dog added to the group. So this is Rosie. She's about 8 months old. She's about a 50%, according to DNA test, she's about a 50% German Shepherd, and I think like 25% Australian cattle dog, and then a couple other herding type dogs thrown in there to the mix. But she's can be a sweet puppy, but she is a handful. There's Freya, the other dog we've had for a while. She's very well behaved, enjoying a roll in the grass. So we're starting up here. We are actually on the top, not the top of the property completely, but pretty much the top as far as useful area goes in terms of doing any major projects. This is where, and we showed this, or I've showed it in earlier videos. This is where we want to build the house in the future. This had already been partially cleared by the guy that we bought the property from. And over here in that hill area is about where he had the septic tank not installed, but we had a perk test done, and it passed the perk test. So I think we're in pretty good shape as far as expecting that to pass when we're ready. But this is the long-term project, so we're not planning to retire for another 4.5 years. So end of 2028. So this is, when this project more than likely will take off about that time. So a little ways to go here, but we've got it's a beautiful spot. This is all, if you look this way, this is basically south facing. So we'll be getting a lot of good south facing sun. In the house, we plan to do some, not totally off grid, but we want to install some solar panels so we have some auxiliary power, maybe augment, what we've got during regular months, and then be able to supply some power if we have a power outage, because we're pretty remote area. So that's, of the projects I'm going to highlight, this is actually going to be the last one that gets going, the one that we're looking forward to the most, of course. But so yeah, project number one on the video, but I'm not sure how many. I think I've got about 4 or 5 lined up for the rest of the way. We're going to go down the hill to show you the rest of the projects that I've got lined up. And so anyways, that's project number 1. Okay, project stop number 2. So I've talked about this for sure in other videos, but you can see kind of in the back corner, I think you can see it, is the shed where I keep the tractor and its implements. It's just like a metal, kind of a rundown kind of a thing as far as the metal recycled type of thing, but it's holding up pretty well, and I think we'll just keep it for the foreseeable future. So it's going to stay there, but in this field right here next to it, want to put a pole barn. Nothing gigantic, but probably something like thinking like 24 by 32, may go a little bit bigger depending on the space there and what cost that kind of drives. But that's, I hope, a little bit more on the near term project. Is something I can kind of plug away at. Without having to, commit once I start, right? I can get the post in the ground and kind of work from there. So that is on the to-do list for sure. in the, I would say, relatively near future, but maybe in a couple of years. As far as, yeah, I'm not sure when I'm going to start it, to be honest with you, but the main thing is we have to get it in here before we start building the house. So, you know, the idea is to be able to have it up and ready and be able to put all of our belongings and things in it while we're building the house. So, and then of course, once we build the house, we'll be able to get everything out of there and use it as a shop and what things you would normally use a pole barn for. So that's going to go here. Certainly once we start doing that, that'll be featured here on the videos on the channel. So look forward to getting that started at some point and filming the progress of that as we go. Well, on the way down the hill, I thought I'd just give you a little status update here of one of the projects I did show. This is the ditch on the road that goes between the cabin, our current cabin, and where we're going to build the house. So I had showed last time, I think it was, well, you saw me doing it, I think, what I was doing the video review or the 100-hour review on my tractor. But I've got a bunch of riprap up here. I haven't continued since that day. I got a long way to go. Actually all the way up there on the ditch to fill in. But I think the riprap has been doing a fairly good job on the way down here. The problem spot really is down here at the curve where things kind of took, had kind of really washed things out on the road prior to me putting in the culvert. You can see you've got riprap. It's building up some debris, so I might need to clean it out a little bit. But I will show you the status of the culvert itself. Here's I have battled for a while. Sorry, just struggled with the camera here. I had battled for quite a while with a bunch of this, kind of the gravel and the smaller gravel and just miscellaneous pieces of debris washing down here and clogging up the culvert inlet itself. And you can kind of see there's a leaf covering it right now. Let's see if I can get the video there. Right there is the end of the culvert. You can see it. There's a gap there, and I've kind of intentionally kept it kind of, oh, there's the dog going down to check it out. Anyways, it's staying open there. I've kind of got these rocks here intentionally just to kind of reinforce the edges and things. Seems to be doing a pretty good job. There has been an occasion where just by evidence here in the road, you can see where it's kind of water has gone up and around it. Unfortunately, I've not been here like when there's, well, not been up here to look at the culvert when there's been a big rain to really see what's happening. So I really need to make an effort to do that one time, just so I can really check out the function and see maybe where it needs to be reinforced or, you know, changed. But for the most part, it's been doing an okay job. There's really not been as much washout going down the road there, so I think it's kept a lot of the water out of the roadway. So I have had to do less maintenance there. And if we walk over here to the outlet side of the culvert, hang on, Rosie, you can kind of can't see evidence of water at the moment because it's not raining at the moment, but you can see where water's been kind of going down in there. So it's been working. I have evidence of that at least. So anyways, just thought I'd give you a little quick rundown on that status since we were passing by that area on the way back down the hill. Okay, another project. This is a project that's not necessarily a fun building project, but is going to be, I guess still to be determined, but I think will be necessary, at least to some degree, before we build the house. So I'm looking up the road towards, you might be able to see the lighter red dirt up there. That's the kind of the wall at the top of our switchback when it cuts back to the left. Where I'm standing now is right at the curve where it's coming up from the cabin. And it's always hard to see on video, of course, on camera, the steepness of these things. So this is a fairly steep section of road. And the concern is some of the, like a concrete truck, you know, some days I look at this and I think it's going to be fine as long as it's one of the front, I'm not sure what they're called, but the front chute all-wheel drive trucks, I think can make it okay. Some days I look at it and I think, maybe not. So, so anyways, one thing that I'm considering is, if I back up a little bit, this turn is a little bit tight right there. And as I said, it's a little steep, but if we back up a little bit, there's more space over here that I think, sorry, being dragged around by the dogs a little bit. I think I want to widen this curve out a little bit to give a little more of a larger turn radius here for trucks. And so to do that, I'm going to need to take some material out of this bank right here. And so I think I will be able to take my the backhoe on the tractor and maybe dig some of this out, clear some of this space just to give a little bit bigger of an arc here, a bigger radius for the trucks to turn around. And there's also, if I turn around behind me, there's actually this more of a straight, maybe I'll back up a little bit so you can see this. After you come up the road, hang on dogs. Let me head and readjust here. So coming up the hill here on the road, there's actually, instead of following the road, if you go straight, there's a fairly straight shot to this extra little area back here in the back that I think, worst case scenario, a truck could come up and just go straight up and over that way and then back along this route to the bottom of that part of the switch back there, and then just go straight up. So there's some options here. So I'm not for sure if I need to do this yet or not, as I said, clearing out this section of the bank, but it just may make life a little bit easier for some of the vehicles that have to get up here. So that's kind of not an urgent project at the moment, but it's something I keep thinking about, maybe kind of knocking out occasionally as I'm here at the cabin on just extended weekends. Okay, made it back to the cabin. So now I've got the dogs in a little better control, so hopefully I can talk with a steadier hand. So let me turn you around and show you the next project that I have in the works. Okay, well, so I mentioned project in the works, but this is actually, it's on the list of relatively near-term things that I want to work on. I've mentioned in other videos, and I'm going to show you here in a second a little more of the hills we've got to work with, but nothing on our property is level. I think you'd be awful hard pressed to find something that's actually level. Our entire property is on the south facing side of this mountain. You can kind of see our driveway, part of the driveway, it loops, but part of the driveway goes down this way. And then you can see right here, there's an intersection where it comes back up around this direction, around the shed. But anyways, we wanted to have the fire pit fairly close to the house, but there's just not, this is on a slope, as I said. Level is about, not sure best way to indicate this. Trying to hold the camera level, but you can see there's a slope there, and if you're just fixing a fire and that's it, and you didn't care to sit down, it'd be perfectly fine. But you go to put lawn chairs there, and it's really difficult to find a couple spots where you don't feel like you're going to topple over, either forward or backward, depending where you've got your self sitting. So anyway, so we really want to level this spot out and make a proper fire pit. So we can have something that's comfortable to sit out on. So another project for the tractor, probably have to use the backhoe to kind of dig some of the ground out a little bit and use some rocks from the property to build up a wall, retaining wall inside there. So I haven't really planned it out completely, but definitely something we want to get done in the, I'd say, relatively near future, and something we can just kind of, peck along at as we've got time while we're here. So shouldn't take tons of time once I actually devote to it, but it just hasn't got done yet. And I know, as I said, something we want to get done relatively soon, just so we have a comfortable spot. Maybe be nice to get done before the fall so we can have some nice fires out here. Okay, here's a little bit of a shot through our front porch area. If you've seen some of my videos on making wood quilts, there's one of them there, bear claw quilt, hanging on the edge of the cabin. So this cabin is only about 540 square feet. We have almost the same, I can't remember exactly, but 400 some, I think, square feet of deck space. So we do have, when the weather's nice, area to kind of spread out a little bit. But what we'd like to actually do, and think we need to, but we'll make it awful lot nicer when we are living here, when we're building the main house, is we'd like to add a bit of an extension or an addition here. We don't want to come all the way to the end of the cabin because if we do that, we're going to lose. I'm kind of up against the railing here, but right now only this section is covered, so we have a decent amount of space that's open to the sun. So we don't want to lose all of that. So I don't want to come all the way down to the end of the cabin here, because that would just leave. If I back up a little bit, that would just leave really this amount of space that's open to the sun. So we don't really want to do that. We'd like to be able to keep some of that available for just getting out and enjoying the deck. But I'm thinking of coming in here and adding the deck is about 8 feet, a little bit over 8 feet wide. And thinking of coming down here, if I back up again, there's a post right there. I think that's a pretty good cutoff spot. It's about 13.5 feet roughly from the other end. And it lines up over here with somewhere right in here. So, it doesn't get into the window there. So I'm going to make an addition here, and I do want to start working on this fairly soon. I've been thinking about this for quite a while, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I've not ever worked on metal roofing. And we're gonna, my thinking is making this a shed roof, so it's gonna come off just this way, right? From here. The problem that I run into here is that and you maybe can tell from the door, the ceiling in the cabin is very low. I just measured it not too long ago, and I can't, it's not even 7 feet tall. So it's fairly low, and so I can't just attach a ledger board to our existing fascia because there's no headroom then, right? Especially if I want to have a pitch, it's going to be super low on this side. So I've been toying around with what to do. In order to make more headroom, I'm more than likely going to have to cut in to the existing roof line, and then be able to be smart enough with flashing for the metal roof to make it leak proof, because that's what worries me, is just cutting into a perfectly fine roof that doesn't leak, just to have it leak afterwards. So clearly I need to think that through. I think I've got it figured out now, and I'm sure I can get advice from folks at the metal roofing company, wherever I'll have to buy the roofing. So anyways, that is on, I would say, as far as the bigger projects, this is the first one that we will tackle. There's the smaller things like the fire pit and maybe clearing out some of the road or that bank at the switchback. But as far as construction projects, I think this is going to be the next thing we do, and we'll certainly highlight that on the video here or on the channel. So yeah, we just like to close that in, have a nice spot where we can kind of expand the indoor living space a little bit, kind of a 3-season room, and a lot of windows and a sliding glass door. That's the other challenge I have, actually. If we were to keep this existing roof height, excuse me, sliding glass doors, unless you get one custom made, which I really don't know how costly that would be, but they're typically about 80 inches high. So, that's basically going to set my height. I've got to have 80 inches. It's not, if I do a shed roof, coming out this way, it's not going to be a load-bearing wall, so I don't have to have, I don't think, a giant header there, but I clearly have to have minimally at least a double plate 2x4, so that's going to add another 3 inches on top of the 80. So that puts me for sure cutting into the roof, even if I were just to do a flat roof, which I'm not thrilled about doing. So anyways, a lot of thinking, a lot of planning about how I'm going to go about doing that. And once I do that, I need to, I'm committed at that point. So I can't do this over a weekend. I need to be able to, plan a longer period of time, especially when it comes time to cutting into the roof. I guess I could start working on some of the wall framing out here. But once I get ready to put the ceiling, the roof in, clearly I've got to, have some time devoted to do that. So anyways, that's probably the biggest of the projects, or the most important of the construction projects that I've got on the list as far as when I want to get it done. So look for more about that, hopefully in the not too distant future. Okay, so I guess that about wraps it up. I'm sure there'll be some other small projects that pop up here and there, and hope to get some more video taken. It's just been, life gets in the way a little bit, and so haven't spent a lot of time down here long enough to do some major projects, but hopefully we'll get some things lined up so we can populate the channel with some good material. And for those of you who I know don't have tons of subscribers, but for those of you who come back to watch this, I appreciate it. And if you happen to stumble across this and you like what I'm putting out, even though it's not very much at the moment, please feel free to like and subscribe. We'd welcome some new customers. So, okay, I had to stop and compose myself a little bit after calling you customers. Subscribers is actually the word I was looking for. And so yeah, if you happen to stumble across the channel and you're not subscribed, I would appreciate you subscribing. And hopefully we'll get some time to get some more projects posted, some interesting material on the site. So I guess that's it for this video, and hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.